Hello everyone, Donkey Storm here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a 5-mask solo run of the Orgrimmar Horrific Vision from a BM Hunter perspective. This is being done on my Hunter alt that is item level 465, so a decently but far from overgeared character, with a level 15 cloak and Gift of the Titans researched. Both of these are highly recommended before attempting a 5-mask run, though not required. Although I am able to beat the Vision relatively easily, despite one close call, this is definitely far from a mistake-free run, but hopefully we can all learn from my mistakes and beat these 5-mask Visions in order to get the achievement through the Depths of Visions and earn our Black Serpent of N'Zoth mount before Shadowlands, where it sounds like it will no longer be obtainable. Alright, so always a good idea to flask yourself up. Have a food buff going. I do have rank 15 cloak. I have Gift of the Titans ready. So I feel like my character is pretty well prepared for this run. If you don't have those things, you can give this a try beforehand, but they do make this much, much, much easier. So I'm going to be throwing on my masks here in just a second, getting ready to go. Really, my biggest advice to people attempting this, especially if you have that corruption resistance from the rank 15 cloak, is don't try to do massive pulls. I was trying to do massive pulls in previous runs, and I found like they made things much harder than it needs to be. If you can just be kind of slow and steady and deliberate and just as mistake-free as possible, like I said, this is far from a mistake-free run, but if you can limit your mistakes, you'll find that time is really not that much of the essence. So one place that I want to also really highlight here is knowing how the potions work in these runs is a huge advantage. So you'll see once I get into here, I'm going to make a left and I'm going to head to the hut that's just before the blacksmith. And you're also going to notice that I have some weak auras down here that's going to help me keep track of which potion is which. So I'm going to come in here, I believe I'll feign death. Yep. And then we'll see that there's a blue potion next to this dead body. That means that the blue potion is bad. So on my weak auras, which I'll link in the description, I click the blue potion, and now it will tell me what everything does. So these potions give an array of buffs, which are great. However, they also suck when they expire because they have really bad effects. So me personally, I just worry about the sanity buff. I look for the potion. In this case, I believe it was purple. Yep. That's going to give me sanity. That's really all I concern myself with. I don't feel like I need the other ones. If this blacksmith hut is open here, killing the blacksmith also gives you a crit buff, which is really nice. There's an HP buff in Orgrimmar as well. I don't bother with that. If this is closed, I just keep moving on, but since it's open, I'm going to kill this guy real quick for the crit buff, which is going to be a nice little buff to my DPS. So he does the Forge Breath, similar to that boss in Stormwind. He's pretty easy to take down, and the buff is well worth it. It's not really going to take you too far out of your way anyway. So we're just going to continue moving on up here and head to the left and enter our first wing in the Valley of Spirits. I feel like a really important thing that I kind of do, could really do a lot better at, is being super deliberate with how you move your character. So when you get this little jumpy debuff thing here that causes you to just go flying in a particular direction, if you just stand still while you're on fire, it will not activate until you choose a direction. So you can stand there and think, what's the best way for me to move with this right now? I believe I'm going to do this right here. So I have the debuff, and I'm waiting. I'm almost going to use it as a disengage when he does Surging Fist. Yep, move out of the way. I actually use that debuff to my benefit there. Now, there's plenty of times when I don't do this right. It really sucks on the little bridge right here. It's easy to get popped off, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to get back on. So you're going to see a great example of probably what not to do at some point here. But when you get that fiery orange stuff around you, just slow down. I have a really bad habit as a BM hunter to always want to be running around since we have such great mobility, but You'll see here I'm standing, I'm waiting. Okay, I want to move forward. Now I believe on this next pull I will make my first big mistake and I'll get popped off the bridge. So, yep, there I go. It's unfortunate. It's hard to get back on. I'm running through all kinds of crap trying to get back on. So be deliberate. Look at that fire and think, which is the best way for me to go? Thankfully, it looks like I started doing that again. So no harm done here. I'm taking these pulls one at a time. I know that you can definitely pull faster than this and stack more up. I just don't think that's necessary. Here I go getting popped off the bridge again. I don't think that's necessary. I feel like it puts you at more risk than you need to be. It's really not about killing stuff super duper fast. It's just about limiting your mistakes. So I like to go one pull at a time, kind of rotate my cooldowns so I always have something going for each pull. I really like Essence of the Focusing Iris as a major for this because certain pulls you can just sort of lawnmower everything down with it, which is nice. It's also great for the boars on Rexxar and Thrall, so you'll see me using that quite a bit as well. Okay, so I'm just going to be going through and clearing off these packs here. Don't forget to click the totems. It's always a pain in the butt when you have to go back and click on them. I sometimes do that. And all the while, I'm keeping an eye out for that purple potion, because that's going to restore 100 sanity to me, which is really a big deal. Think about it. If you pick up one of those in each wing, that's almost a full bar of sanity that you're saving yourself. So once I realized that purple is the sanity color, and you see I just found a purple potion right there. It's gonna kind of suck to get over to it, but totally worth 100 sanity for sure. So I would highly recommend that you download those weak auras that I have linked here and you use them. It really changed the way Horrific Visions went for me, and maybe you'll like to take advantage of the buffs. I sort of just feel like as long as I can find those sanity vials, I'm in pretty good shape. On those Void Elementals, make sure that you interrupt Void Buffet whenever you can, because it makes you take additional shadow damage, and they're always paired up with stuff that does shadow damage. And as a hunter-specific thing here, you're going to need to use Men Pet quite a lot. I definitely screw that up from time to time and don't use it as often as I should, but you don't want your pet dying. That can get real hairy. So I think I was just looking for potions here. I'm sort of running around like an idiot. Not recommended, but apparently you can still beat it by doing so. So I found my purple potion. And I'm going to take on this first boss of this wing here. This guy is pretty easy. Again, just be deliberate with your movement. Don't let the jumping fire debuff pop you into bad situations. You can see I have it here. I'm just holding on to it until I have a situation where I can kind of use it to my benefit. So I'm going to grab my hopelessness so that I'm not silenced. And I mean, this guy is pretty easy and straightforward. Just don't be overwhelmed by the amount of stuff thrown at you. I think I'm going to... Yeah, that one wasn't too bad as far as being popped through the fire. Get a little bit stuck on a wall here. Happens. But let's see. I'll get out of this vision at almost a full bar. So if you can get through any vision at a full bar, you're looking good. Just going to take a quick peek for potions here and move on to the next wing. So for my hunter buddies that are watching this, I really like using a spirit beast for about 90% of the run, and having a bloodlust pet for I like to use it on Thrall. A lot of people hate Rexxar. I don't think Rexxar is that bad, although he almost kills me in this run, but I would save my bloodlust for either the boss of this wing that I'm at here, whose name escapes me, or Thrall. If you really hate Rexxar, you can use it on him too. I mean, it's obviously the best idea to get 2 bloodlusts a run, so that's what I would recommend getting. Either this boss and Rexar and Thrall. Two of those three are probably the best way to go. I use it on this guy. I don't like him. I don't like his big old sanity stealing beam or his ads or his orb, so I'm going to use that here. And also my my cheat death buff, or the research buff that allows you to return to life with full sanity. I try very hard to save that for Rexar or Thrall. This run I don't manage to do that, but that is always the goal. Save it for Rexar or Thrall. You're going to want to watch out for these Kathir Dominators who cast Touch of the Abyss. It's a stun. Let's see, I kick it there. Can put you in a lot of trouble if it hits you at the wrong time. And this next pull, you're going to want to be careful because there's two of them, which can be a little tricky. So I try, and I believe unsuccessfully, to just take them out with my focusing iris here, but this guy, I'm just too slow. He gets the stun off on me, and fortunately for me, it doesn't cost me any sanity. Having the post-haste talent on your disengage is really nice for the fact that it frees you of movement debuffs. Here I find another purple potion. That's always a really nice plus. I believe I find 2 in this wing. But post haste is really nice when you get in a really bad situation. I can't tell you how many times that's sort of bailed me out. So I'm not going out of my way for the chests here, since I am pretty much fully researched, but when I see them just sitting right there, I kind of can't help myself, so I think I'm going to grab these. And then I'm going to go over to Spitty Boy here. You just really want to avoid his thing where he spits stuff at you. He'll turn to you, but you don't have a ton of time to move. It's a good time to use. I believe I get clipped there for 60 sanity. That's a bit of a mistake. Definitely not the end of the world, but you just want to avoid taking damage like that whenever you can. So I'm going to grab my other chest here. Now, coming up very shortly, I screw up royally. So I haven't used anything yet, which is great. You'll see here, I'm just checking for potions again. There's a lot of them in that little dead end. You'll see here I make a big mistake that could have cost me the run, honestly. Luckily it didn't, but like I said, I like to save my cheat death for Rexar or Thrall. And I had 3 of my little recharge as my sanity bars here, and I really should have just used one. I also fat finger my my turtle on here, and I'm going to fat finger something else here in a second too. So like I said, plenty of mistakes this run, but you can still beat it. I blow my cheat death on this coming major boss, the boss of the wing, completely unnecessarily, and I really should have just refilled my sanity meter. I was trying to be all min-maxy, and I didn't want to refill my sanity when it was still in like the high 200s, I believe, but I mean, totally not worth blowing my cheat death here for, and you'll see later Rexar almost kills me. So that was just a dumb move, so don't do that. You don't get bonus points for finishing runs with your recharges or your sanity bar, so just use them. I mean, it'd be smart to just use them all. I believe I'm going to finish this run with 1 hole left still, but I mean, I could have blown it on Rexar. It is really close, so we'll see that soon. This boss is quite easy. He's going to jump at you. Just move, disengage if it's going to be close, or if you're slowed too much, and just, again, always being really deliberate with your movement. You can't do the Beast Mastery Hunter, like, I'm just going to run around in a circle here. It's not going to work. So yeah, this is where I make my big mistake. I've got just about half sanity, and I want to try and kill this boss without using a charge, which is just the dumbest thing that I could have done. I should have just recharged, but instead I decided to go for it. I like to use Lust on this boss, so I'm going to dismiss my pet, get out my Lust pet, and I'm just going to try to burn him down. This is also kind of a dumb place to pull him because I don't have a lot of room to maneuver from his stuff. So yeah, everything you see here, do the opposite of that, I suppose. I do dodge his beam. I'm getting multi-shot up preemptively so that most of the ads go on my pet, and a disengage there to avoid the orbs. But see, I'm just running out of room here, which and he's almost dead. My sanity bar is looking totally fine right now, and I'm feeling like, oh, it was a good idea not to use a recharge, and then I get blasted by freaking everything right here, and I gotta use a res as soon as he dies. So massive mistake there. I really would say save that res for Rexar or Thrall. Alright, so anyway, you can't get too discouraged by stuff like that. You just got to keep going and make the best of it. So you can click on a little totem here, getting sent back to the beginning, and this time you're going to be heading to the right to go to our next wing. This wing's quite easy, and this is a great place to use Feign Death, as you're going to end up picking up all these ads. I mean, unless you want to loot the chests or try to find a potion, I'd recommend just running right past them and heading into that next wing. So I'm still kind of keeping my eye out. If I see an easy to grab purple potion, I'm going to pick it up, but I don't believe I find one. So I'm going to Feign Death right here, and for some reason these guys stay on my pet, so I know I end up zapping them with my focusing iris and then heading into the next wing. So these little tentacle guys are kind of a pain in the butt. You can try to stun them. I usually try to just burn them down, which is hit or miss. They don't do anything too tremendously bad. They can just take a long time to kill if you can't CC them in some way. Not a whole lot, I guess, to say about this wing. I feel like this wing is quite easy. I'm finding a purple potion here that I can pick up. It's not going to do me a whole lot of good because my sanity is already pretty high and I'm about to kill an elite, but whatever, man. Pick them up where you can get them because you never know what's going to happen. So again, you're going to just control your movement with the jumpy debuff so that you don't get launched into something bad. This guy's little pushback is not that big of a deal as long as you're not getting pushed into like the purple pools or just something else that is bad news bears. So this guy goes down pretty easily, and then you talk to Garona and continue moving down the drag. So we're going to get her up. She's going to say, oh, I almost had him, even though she obviously didn't. He was at full health. And you're just going to keep on clearing through here. Like I said again, there's chests here, and since they're right next to me, I'll pick them up, but for the most part, I'm not concerned with those. I already have the bulk of my research done. Gotta kick those dominators. They can really put you in a tough spot. So don't forget to kick them, stun them, or do whatever. Also, you want to always remember that exhilaration fully heals your pet as well as heals you. And in these visions, I think I almost more often use it to heal my pet back up than myself. 'Cause you don't want your pet dying. It gets pretty hairy pretty fast if you have everything hitting you. Your pets are really great tanks, great cleave, so don't let them die. Use men pet often. Use exhilaration if it's a choice between that and your pet dying. Your pet goes down, you're going to have a bad time. So we're opening doors, we're killing tentacles, we're trying to avoid things on the ground as we approach the last boss of this area. What I try to do with him, although like I've been saying, screw that up a little bit in this run, when he does his channeled cast that shoots the little purple arrows at you, you're going to want to stay at a distance. Makes them much easier to avoid. Movement increases make them much easier to avoid. So try not to get hit with that. It can drain a pretty good amount of sanity when you have your masks on. Gonna kick a Dominator here and just continuing to kind of slowly but surely make my way up. And like I said, there's no need to like stack up pulls if you're not comfortable with that. It just makes things more uncomfortable. Like you start pulling multiple Dominators, you start getting hit by things you otherwise wouldn't. I mean, I still haven't used any of my charges to restore my sanity yet, and I'm about to be 3/4 of the way through this. Now, yeah, I did use my cheat death, which is completely awful, but so maybe we can count that as one charge, but still, it's not like time is of the essence here. It's more about just doing things right. So we're going to get ready to kill this bad boy here at the end of the wing. We're going to try to avoid his cast. The bubble shield is not that big of a deal. I mean, if your DPS is decent, he's not going to have much left on that thing. So here's Void Torrent. I'm avoiding it, and then I try to thread the needle between two, and bam, there you go. Got hit. Should have used a movement speed increase. So there's a mistake. I know I use it on the next one. He casts it twice at 65 and 35%, I believe. So yeah, this time I'm going to use my movement speed increase and easily avoid it. So do that instead of the first one. There's a lot of potions here at the end, so keep an eye out for your corresponding color if you can restore some sanity. But I mean, I'm going into my last wing here with 3 charges and almost a full bar. So I'm feeling pretty good about where this is going. I'm just checking around for some potions real quick and then going to head into my last wing here. Misha is kind of one of those elites that I feel like is almost more there to just restore your sanity than anything. You can't, as far as I know, you might be able to line of sight it, but her little barf or whatever it is doesn't really hurt that bad and doesn't appear to take any sanity away. So this is just a nice place to kind of grab 200 sanity from her. I know that you can run along the left wall here and avoid tons of ads at the cost of taking a lot of damage. Since I had so much sanity here and the ability to restore so much, it felt like that was just an unnecessary risk, so you're not going to see me do that here. I definitely like to just play these pretty safe, I guess, which might make them take a little bit longer, but it's effective. I won despite a number of mistakes here. I don't have my cheat death for Thrall or Rexar, which is going to be almost my undoing. You'll see, gets way too close at the end of this wing. So yeah, again, if you wanted to, you could run through to the left there and skip all that. I chose not to do that. So we're just cleaving down one pack at a time, kind of rotating our cooldown so that we always got something going between our Essence, Bestial Wrath, and Aspect, trying not to let anything off of cooldown for too long. And just deliberately going through and avoiding anything that's going to drain my sanity. Grabbing potions whenever you can. And just being safe overall. Yeah, that's the way to play these. At least that's the way I like to play them. If you're super overgeared, then I mean, sure, just go to town. But 465, I feel like was a comfortable level. Not necessary. Could be much lower. if you don't screw up as many times as I do, or don't blow your cheat death on the stupid second boss. This guy is another one of those elites that isn't too bad. Nice little restore of 200 sanity before you have to face Rexxar. Can get a little tight in this area if you don't clear that pack to the left, which I didn't, and easily could have. It does a lot of damage to your pet though, which is a little bit scary. You don't, like my pet is just hanging on here as he died, and then I used acceleration, which is again kind of tiny mistake. I don't know if I just wasn't watching the health or whatever. It's funny how watching these things over again makes you just notice all kinds of things that you don't really pick up on when you're in the midst of playing. So Rexxar coming up here is a boss that a lot of people like to lust for. I wouldn't blame you for lusting on him. He can drain your sanity pretty fast. There's a lot going on. In previous runs, I haven't really had that much of a problem with him. This run, though, I think I kind of underestimated him and I almost die. I like to hard switch to boars and just kill them one by one. I do that for the first two, and then I pop my focusing iris on the second two, and they die really fast. You're going to want to avoid his traps. Where I get screwed up in here is where his little shaws start running across the room. I just sort of get in a rabbit hole of getting hit by stuff one after another. So I believe I'm going to pop a pineapple here, restore my sanity. No reason not to when I have full charges still. Just start my DPS on Rexxar, and then as soon as the boars spawn, I'll interrupt the quills that I can, which is not a lot, just the first two with interrupt and a stun. And I'm just going to hard switch to these boars and take them down. Keep my beast cleave up so I'm still damaging Rexxar. And when that second pair comes out, we're going to blast them with the focusing iris, and then we will be boar free on Rexxar. So yeah, but then things start to really unravel pretty fast here. Like I said, I didn't keep my cheat death here, and it really almost ruined my day. So these boars go down quite fast with the focusing iris on them. My sanity is taking some hits here, and then here in a moment, I believe my health is just, I hit a Sha for basically no reason. Hit another one. I think I start panicking here. I spawn one of those below 50% guys, and stuff is just getting a little bit scary. I need Rexxar to be dead yesterday, and there he goes. So we're back and we're safe again with just one boss left to go in Thrall. So we're going to take the totem back. We got 2 pineapples left to use, and just the trash before Thrall and Thrall to go. You make yet another mistake here, but I at least made a pretty patient response to correct it, so you'll see that in a minute. On this trash before Thrall, I just run through it and then feign death before the 2 guys that you have to kill in order to open the door. I unintentionally use my aspect, which is obviously a huge deal. So after I kill these 2, I'm actually gonna just stand around and wait for the cooldown to come back because I've got so much sanity. I can afford to do that. So that is not the most exciting way to do this, nor the most effective, but luckily I had the luxury of being able to do that with 2 pineapples left to pop. So these guys, you just want to make sure that you move away from the front of them when they do their cast, their hard cast, interrupt their fear, and you can head into Thrall's room. So for Thrall, I take a similar approach on the boars. I actually start my DPS on the boars. I use the focusing iris to burst them down. and get them out of the way. I mean, within the first like 5 or 10 seconds of the fight, so you don't have to deal with void quills. So yeah, here I have a minute to go on my aspect, and I just don't really see a reason to go ham in there, so I just kind of stand around. I think we'll actually skip that part. Okay, so going into Thrall. I'm going to start on these boars. I'm going to interrupt what I can, shoot them with the focusing iris, and then they're already dead. Can focus on Thrall. Now, you don't want to get hit by anything, of course, but you really don't want to get hit by his little frontal shockwave. That can really snowball stuff in a hurry. I believe that takes 60 sanity. There's a move he does right afterwards, which takes another 30. I mean, if you get hit by more than one of those, your run is basically over. So I use Bloodlust, kind of running out of room a little bit, which can be a bit of an issue here. And just like everything in these visions, it's really just about executing mechanics. Watch the floor and just make good decisions. If you need to step in one of your little mask puddles, like, do it. Like there I took completely unnecessary damage. Luckily I'm just like so far ahead it doesn't matter, but do not get hit by Thrall's shockwave. That one that he just did there, that can be a game ender. So when Thrall goes down, you've done it. And you get a really nice little treasure trove of mementos, and you get your transmog for your masks, and also you have the first half of your achievement done for the N'Zoth mount. So anyways, I hope this was helpful to you guys. I've never done a video like this before, so I'm definitely open to your constructive or angry criticism. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. I will do the Stormwind version next week, whether you like it or not. So until then, this has been Donkey Storm. You guys have a great day.